Okay, so today we are going to take a look at how we can draw people in a scene, and I'll show you a technique of essentially just tracing over an image and my approach to it, and how it could you can use it for your designs when trying to put your product in use or setting it in a scene. So right now we have an image here. I just picked like a stock photo of family playing ping pong, and I'm doing this digitally, but you can also print out something, a photo, and then use your marker paper, which is semi-translucent, to go over top of it and kind of construct your people from that as well. So you can approach this by kind of drawing out some of the major sort of points for the person, drawing the head and the shoulders, the neck and the elbows and all the different ligaments, and that's one approach. But you can also just use what we have here in on the page, and really this is the sort of cheat code where you're basically just drawing over the shapes that you see in the image itself. It's all in perspective, and making it digitally editing this on Photoshop, it could be kind of useful, or but it could also be kind of difficult. So doing this sort of version where you're drawing over it digitally or analog, it doesn't really matter. It offers a new sort of perspective or idea on the scene at hand. And so you can, you don't have to kind of get so fussy with the like the photoshopping, essentially. And you can try to do a little quicker version with a sketch. And if you're doing this digitally, that's great, because you can kind of make lots of different layers for the different scenes, the different people. So maybe we have the dad over here. Maybe we just want to have the child sort of be the other sort of player in this ping pong scene. And you don't have to do everything. We can kind of just get the eyes in. You don't have to draw it all, but having it here for you is actually really nice. You can just kind of get roughly the elements of this person. And I'm drawing, digitally like I would be, with a pen and paper. So, a lot of this sort of process still applies. I'm also making these, the drawings here kind of quick. They're just a little rough, because you just want an indication of sort of the different shapes, the different players in this case of this game. And maybe we've got the girl, we've got the father, and now we have, let's say, the table, and we can extend this out across the page so that we have nice straight lines. And since everything is kind of done on its own layer, then we can really easily come back in and erase some things. So here we can get like a small eraser and just sort of erase that part, and we're not erasing the drawing of the kid, which is great. So now we have kind of our main setup, our main environment, which is actually quite cool. And should you want to add something back in, you can always bring it back. But let's say we wanted to like sort of show the narrative here of, maybe there's this like ping pong table, and maybe there's some sort of augmented device or something that the daughter's using to kind of like help with her aim, right? So maybe we want to kind of show that in a sketch, and we essentially maybe want to have like the idea that in in any given sketch, we can kind of see, depending on our angle. So maybe this is kind of like a new looking sort of ping pong table or a ping pong racket. We can, and she's wearing some sort of new glasses or something like that, we can maybe redesign those. Those are pretty shoddy looking glasses, but anyway, maybe there's something we can do there to connect that with color or something, and maybe it's sort of like showing the trajectory of of where the ball might hit, right? Or maybe it shows multiple, right? Depending on how she would go about, angling it. So kind of neat idea, trying to visualize that. And yeah, so we can, because the idea here, we want to just sort of focus on the narrative, right? And so using an underdrawing, in this case, this photo, helps us do a lot of the hard things that are kind of, really just get these shapes down for these people. And then we can start focusing on, what the actual narrative is, right? So maybe we have a sort of title block up here to kind of explain what's kind of going on. I don't really feel like doing that, but yeah, you get the idea. And then, we can spend a little bit more time on, a sort of, maybe drawing this arrow a little bit more carefully, so maybe we kind of go in and say, if it bounces there, then maybe it'll kind of spring up again. And so we're showing some trajectory. I kind of don't like the arrow there, so maybe we can kind of exaggerate it a bit. Maybe we kind of make it so that the arrow kind of comes in to frame somewhere around there. That looks kind of cool. Right, and so maybe, this whole environment needs to be kind of like mapped or something. So maybe we have like little, cameras or something here that look like little cylinders or something. And maybe you need 4 or 6 or something so that you get a good image. And now you can start annotating them. The idea here is that, just sort of pointing out an idea for, an approach, a specific approach, and you can sort of come in and, do a lot of the, the heavy lifting with photos, I find. So you can focus more on the narrative, and what's sort of happening with that. So if I wanted to, I always like my orange sort of arrows. So if I wanted to kind of shade that in, kind of like the smallness of that. Maybe what we'll do is have something like that, but then we can, the beauty of this being digital is that we can just do a quick little clipping mask. Actually, how did that work? Oh, no, that's fine. I can just work with that. There we go. That works. Sometimes I get some texture in there, some sort of idea. It's easy to kind of compose things on top of it because we have a photo to work from, but what all of, the decisions that we make in a page or a sketch or a composition is now based on, what we can imagine, and we don't have to kind of focus on the issues at hand when it comes to assigning the right kind of perspective and getting the right sort of scenario. So this is a really good tip, a really good workflow, I find, to get this sort of narrative down onto the page.